Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss School of Rock, starring Jack Black. Forgot to do that in Kung Fu Panda, and Joan Cusack, Miranda Cosgrove, Sarah Silverman, and Mike White, directed by Richard Linklater. Now, I remember going to theaters the very first day this came out back in October 2003, and is it as good as I remember? Let's get into it and let's find out. Dewey Finn's band plays at a local bar, and Dewey, played by Jack Black, throws himself to get carried by the crowd and gets knocked out, and we move on to his roommate Ned Schneebly, played by Mike White, and his demanding girlfriend Patty DeMarco, played by Sarah Silverman, demanding Dewey to give him some rent money in the amount of $2,200 by the end of the week, or else he gets thrown out, as Ned comes out all chill, but Patty really got on my nerves throughout the movie, as his band kicks him out of the band to only be replaced by Spider, who's a new guitarist. And this opening is funny as hell. And I do like Dewey and Ned more than Dewey's band, and Patty for that matter. Ned is a substitute teacher and gets a call from a private elementary school ran by Rosalie Mullins, played by Joan Cusack. But Dewey answers it and takes over for Ned and pretends to be Ned as the substitute teacher. He gets to the school and starts his first of the 3 weeks that he's supposed to be there, and meets Summer Hathaway, played by Miranda Cosgrove, and other students like Freddie Jones, Michelle, Eleni, I don't know if I said that wrong, Zach, Lawrence, Frankie, Tamika, Marta, Leonard, Billy, Marco, Alicia, Gordon, and Katie. And his first day is on his first day, as he acts like a hard ass, having recess every single day at school for the next 3 weeks. And he leaves at the end of the school day, and the second day tells them to give up and take orders from the man, which is a terrible advice. And the kids are really good in this movie, and like I said before in Kung Fu Panda, I'm a Jack Black fan, as he always makes me laugh. But he plays a heartwarming role as the teacher of these kids. Dewey hears the kids in music class at one point, and he believes they have talent, and he brings his instruments and comes up with the rock band, and brings up Zach for guitar, Lawrence for piano, Katie to play bass guitar, like a cello, for example, and Freddie for the drums, as he shows them how to play together in a band, and his art grows on them, as he wants to bring them to a competition called the Battle of the Bands. And Dewey doesn't want the parents to find out about the project, and calls out on a couple of background singers. And after lunch, Dewey will give them a position for the band, and director Richard Linklater does a good job at showing the different rock music, as it works very well. A few kids are security and soundproofing the classroom, and gives another few kids to work on some lasers, and 3 groupies and making merchandise and coming up with a band name, and they start practicing being in the rock band. And day 3 comes, and Summer doesn't like the idea of being a groupie, and Dewey gives her a position called band manager, as she's in charge of everything in the band, while Dewey brings up the history of rock bands and makes a new schedule for the whole school day, as he brings up a new song he wrote in 15 minutes and sings this song. And I like the song, and the dialogue works for musical reasons, and the acting is pretty good, even not just Jack Black or Mike White, but the kids as well. Dewey asks Miss Mullins about a field trip, but doesn't say what the place is and location is, as he meets the other teachers and says something that is a song, but I couldn't put the lyrics together, which was kind of amusing. And they practice the song he wrote, and he gives out the CDs to hear the music to the other rock and roll bands, while Tamika confesses she wants to sing, and Dewey asks her to sing for him, and he's blown away. And this movie is a hell of a lot of fun. Dewey witnesses Zach's dad saying no rock music and acts all hostile about it, and Dewey brings up how to talk back to the man, like he brought up at one point earlier in the film, and practices what gets them ticked off. And they sing about it, and they continue practicing rock band and acting like rockers. And the day comes when parents' night is that very night, and Dewey learns she was in a band, and by she I mean Ms. Mullins, and they go to auditions, for the Battle of the Bands, and people take it as a joke. But Dewey pulls them together, and Tamika is afraid of singing in front of the people testing them while Freddie takes off with some other rockers, and Dewey reasons with them, and they get ready to audition, and the list is full, and Dewey gets all abusive about it with the audition guy. And these scenes are as well shot as this movie is working great. Summer gives the idea of apologizing to the audition guy and make up a whole white lie about them in the St. Margarita's Hospital, sick with a rare blood disease, as they do get the gig, and the two groupies name the band the School of Rock, as Ms. Mullins comes into the classroom and says one of the teachers named Ms. Lemon heard music as they were learning math while singing, and she watches, and they end, and at the end of the day, school day, Ms. Mullins and asks Dewey to stick to the method of teaching, I'll say, and they go to a bar with some music as he learns more about her musician years, while Dewey almost calls himself Dewey when he's pretending to be Ned, obviously, which almost blows his cover until he says Dewey and his middle name as his middle name and calls himself Ned, and he puts on some Steve Nicks as Ms. Mullins loves the song that is playing in the background. And Dewey asks Ms. Mullins about the field trip he brought up as it's the Battle of the Bands, but he doesn't say that at the time. And Ms. Mullins confesses she was a different person before ever becoming a principal at the school. And I like the chemistry between Dewey and Ms. Mullins as it works pretty great. Not that I would expect them to fall in love, and I'm digging the plot as it is. Dewey hears Zach's song as he wrote a song for the band as they learn his song lyrics, and after they play it by the end of the school day, because they have a big day tomorrow, they couldn't drink or party, but because they're 10 years old, so that didn't make so much sense, but whatever, as they're not allowed to, but it's humorous. I can take it as that. Dewey asks Miss Mullins about the field trip, but she forces him to go to the parents' night at the school and gets ready for it until Ned sees he gets a check for $12,000 from the school. And Dewey confesses he did something terrible, and Ned learns what he was pretending to be Ned. And Patty comes in, and Dewey tells Ned to not tell Patty before she walks in, and this is working for me. Parents' night comes, and they question Dewey as a teacher about what they learn while Patty calls the cops on them, telling them Dewey is a fraud, and he confesses he's a fraud, no thanks to Patty, and she and Dewey get in an intense argument and a brief talking by Ned almost kicking Dewey out of the apartment they're living at while the kids want to go to the show. Well, Ms. Mullins is dealing with their parents as they disappear and get on the bus to Dewey's apartment, and Freddie and Lawrence get up there to get Dewey's ass up, and he gets dressed for the show and gets on the bus with the kids as Ned and Patty see Dewey leaving, and Patty gets all defensive, and Ned dumps her by leaving her his own apartment, which serves her right. And good job for everyone to finish what they started, as it does a great job at disliking the character Sarah Silverman played in this movie. They get to the Battle of the Bands and hear Dewey's old band No Vacancy, that's what they're called, I didn't realize, playing before he comes in with his new band, and Ms. Mullins and the parents along with Ned get tickets for the show and get to the front of the stage as the School of Rock play this song Zach wrote and perform a great show, and it's quite a success. And Dewey does jump towards the audience and people catch him and brings him back to the stage, and everyone loves the kids as rockers, but unfortunately they do not win the Battle of the Bands, but Dewey's old band No Vacancy does, and people chant School of Rock for an encore. They sing another song, and we get back to Dewey and Ned's apartment and learn more about rock music, practicing and being in a band together, and the credits roll during the scenes of them practicing as a band, and the song was fun, and the climax was fun, and I had a great time with this movie from start to finish. Now it's time for my rating. I'll give this movie a 8.1 out of 10. This movie was heartwarming, as I do like Dewey, Ned, Ms. Mullins, and the kids, and they are all very good in this movie, as this movie is a hell of a lot of fun from start to finish. Director Richard Linklater does a good job at bringing up all the old school rock and roll music as it was a blast from the past. As the movie works great, as I'm digging the plot, and it works great as well, and it's a feel good movie. The movie is well shot, and I'm liking the performances from Jack Black, Joan Cusack, Mike White, and the kids themselves. And I had a great time with the movie from start to finish. This is a solid recommendation, as it was a great time from start to finish. And I mean, I gotta confess something. Before I saw this movie, I never saw one trailer for this movie, and it surprised the hell out of me, I will say, after seeing it the first time in theaters. So yeah, it's a great movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Before Sunset. And until then, the School of Rock! Yeah! Gracias.